let us see how we can convey information from the web browser to the web server. So here is the browser and here will be the server. Okay, so one way is to do a GET request. A GET request is a request to have a page delivered, and the URL in the GET request can convey information. Aside from the host portion, there can be the app name, the endpoint, okay, and after this there can be parameters, parameter 1 and parameter 2, and also query string, q is equal to something and r is equal to something else. So the URL itself can convey information via the parameters and via the query string, as we have seen. Okay, once received, the URL request will generate some computation on the server, and the response will be well, hopefully it will be a 200 OK, and otherwise it can also be something else. Okay, so that's how a GET request works. In addition, we have POST requests. POST requests work in this way. You send them to a server. They have also a URL, right? So there is also this same portion. Let me just abbreviate even more and simply say parameters and query string, just as a crazy abbreviation for what I wrote above. Okay, so you can convey some information in the query string as well and in the parameters, but essentially the reply to a POST request will be essentially an OK that enables you to actually send the real request body. So POST requests have an initial portion of the request and then have an all-important body of the request that is also acknowledged via a mechanism such as 200 OK, right? So the body of the request can be large. Essentially, in a POST request, you ask first, hey, can I send information to this URL? And you get an OK, go ahead. Then you send the true body of the request and you get a final confirmation of how this went, right? So it's a two-step process. And the body is typically composed of it can be a form content, form encoded. We have seen this already in the last lecture on forms. When you have a web form and the information is sent, it is sent like a big dictionary in which there is a name, last name, and the various contents. So basically the form becomes a dictionary, field name, colon content, where this is the name portion of the input field. Okay, so this is one type of body content. Another type of body content is a file upload. Okay, we will see later how to generate file uploads, but essentially you can stream the file inside the body so that it will be transmitted all, and then you receive a confirmation of whether it was received. And the other type that is much used is JSON. JSON gives you a way of encoding strings, integers, floats, okay, and also lists, and also dictionaries, built in a recursive way. So for example, you can have a list of dictionaries in which the field types in the dictionary, the values can be strings or integers or floating point numbers. So JSON is a very flexible format, and once we develop more sophisticated applications, we will always prefer to send the information in JSON, except for file uploads. Okay, so which way of sending information to a server should you choose? Well, the idea is that if you need to send only tiny pieces of information, a GET request is slightly faster, especially if it comes from a mobile device. In mobile devices, these transmission times may be longer, and so you try to avoid multiple round trips. If you have to simply say something like thumbs up to item 12, you may be better off with a GET request signed to avoid attacks, but to a GET request which simply says increase the number of thumbs up to item number 12. Now via GET. So all the information is conveyed as part of the URL. If instead you need to convey more information, then you need to use a POST request and endure the multiple round trips. The point is that URLs have limited amount of information they can convey. They can be at most 4 kilobytes long, 4 kilocharacters long, I guess. POST requests do not have such limits. So whenever you want to send large amounts of content, be it a file upload or a form in which you have typed free-form text, and so you can have typed a lot of information, you would prefer in that case a POST request.